3301.
In January 2012, a mysterious organization released an intricate puzzle on the internet, saying it was looking for highly intelligent individuals. The group issued a new puzzle the following 2 years, until its latest one couldn't be solved. It remains a mystery to those who still are trying to crack it 4 years later. No one knows who's behind the puzzle or how the latest piece can be decoded. But who has made it into the organization before? And why are they recruiting some of the most intelligent people on the planet into Cicada 3301?
The key has always been right in front of your eyes.
Good luck, 3301.
I'm at Virginia Tech, where one of the only people in the world who's publicly admitted to making his way inside Cicada goes to school. His name is Marcus Wanner, and he solved the 2012 puzzle as a 15-year-old.
Nobody else has hit the floor yet.
That's a half a point.
When you got in, did you get any sense of 3301's organization?
You can imagine we grilled them as soon as we had access to actually ask Cicada questions.
Right.
We had a million questions. What we gathered was, it's an organization that's hierarchical. It's based on cells. When a new cell is created, there's one person who will manage the cell, and that will be their only point of contact for the organization. We all had like made-up names that they had made up for us.
What was yours?
I was Liquid Vulture.
Cicada named you Liquid Vulture.
That's what they called me.
Like, you've got to be wondering, what are we here to do? What are we here for? Did they give you something to do, or?
They asked us to come up with our own project, and they said it had to be something to do with digital liberties in general. We came up with a bunch of ideas, and then we selected one. We introduced ourselves. You're afraid to talk about anything you've worked on since it could be connected with you. You're afraid to talk about your name, your family. You don't say, oh, I just finished eating dinner, because you give away your time zone. So it's a big game, right? The game is, can you keep your identity secret? I don't know if Cicada knew it, but they were teaching us to be able to do these things should we ever need to. The project we ended up working on was intended to solve a life and death problem for people who have reason to fear for their lives. I'm talking about whistleblowers, academics working on disruptive technologies, maybe a book that somebody wouldn't want published. You could upload your book periodically to this dead man switch that we would create. So the project was creating a dead man switch system that doesn't place any trust in any one party. Instead, it's going to go to a bunch of different nodes spread around the internet, run by different people. You say, here's this thing, release it in 7 days if you don't hear from me. And if you don't check in for 7 days, then a little bit of data gets released. We call it CAKES, Cicada Anonymous Key Escrow System. I was all gung-ho about it the whole time. I totally wanted to do the project. And then I was the only one who actually wrote any code on it. I was designing my own crypto systems. And I said, guys, I'm 15 years old. I don't know how to do crypto. If we're gonna build it and build it wrong, then it's worse than if we didn't build it. Because if somebody uses it and it gives them a false sense of security, then we've actually done something bad. I couldn't get a review on my code, so I stopped working on it. Eventually, Cicada shut the site down.
You essentially show up for work one day and work is gone?
So this was right around the time that the Snowden disclosures happened, so I don't know if that had anything to do with it.
Do you guys make the connection between the Snowden disclosures and Cicada at that point?
The timing is suggestive.
This is early 13, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. This was about a few months before it broke, and they just went off the map. Maybe they're still going. Maybe I just got kicked out.
No, but your friends would know. Guys that you went in there,
I
they
feel
would
like,
know.
Yeah, they would know, right?
Every ARG in the world, it seems like the core of it is, this is not a game.
If you release this tool and you save somebody's life, or some documents get leaked and it rewrites history a little bit, is it still a game?
If you're working on particularly strong cryptography, especially in North America, you will get contacted by a government agency. Regardless of what country you're in, one of your intelligence services will be monitoring what you're working on, will come and talk to you specifically, or even try to get involved.
I don't want to say I'm a paranoid individual. I don't think I'm particularly prone to flights of bizarre assumptions. 2 or so weeks after we sent in the Freedom of Information Act request, Someone parked a van directly outside of my house. We went and looked at it the other day, and the back is full of a bunch of stereo boxes. It's sat there unused, no one's even opened any of the doors, and it's been there now almost a full month.
Oh shit.
So I went to my neighbors and we're just like, whose fucking van is this? And they were like, oh, it's outside your place. We all thought it was yours. No one has any idea whose it is or where it came from, and it's been there almost a month. But I recorded 24 hours of that van. Just pointed a camera at it since we finished the call last night and recorded the whole. So this is the van.
Oh, Jesus Christ, it's real. This is the world that we're living in. This is why we need Cicada.
Dude, what the fuck is wrong with your gutter? Isn't it supposed to be attached to your house?
Yeah. No.
Every time there's this government intervention, you're going, okay, which side are we getting? In some cases, that has been good. And in a lot of cases, that's considered not good. They aren't sure with people like us whether to be worried or whether they want to hire us. If anyone in the cryptography community has the possibility of being a really useful addition to their team, they need people like us.
I'm very familiar with the way the government recruits. If I wanted to, I could get tuition, books, and $65,000 in cash. The catch is I have to work for a government agency for 3 years. So I'm not doing it.
A long time ago, I applied at the FBI. I thought it was like, well, cool work and not what the media was portraying. It's not like they're spying on everybody all the time, you know? In the Midwest, there's a lot of patriotism. There's that sense of duty to do your part. And even these big organizations, military, FBI, NSA, DARPA, DOD, the only way you can change it is by getting in it and changing it.
The National Security Agency's specialty is signals intelligence. It monitors communications of governments and individuals around the world. Much of its expertise is based on cryptography and code breaking. Just the sort of work the Cicada puzzle solvers have been doing for years.
Cryptographic puzzles for us are a part of our outreach strategy, our branding strategy, recruiting strategy. They're generally created by experts within NSA who are interested in that kind of stuff. We have lots of them.
The NSA has used cryptographic puzzles in its public recruitment for years. But after Edward Snowden's disclosures of the NSA's surveillance tactics, it's finding recruiting top-level talent far more difficult than before.
The increasing competition that we're facing as we do our recruiting, the sort of talents and skills that we go after are more and more demand by private industry also, so we have to raise awareness of us as a distinctive and unique employer. I had a student at a college who had seen some of the Snowden materials that had been unlawfully released, and he said, I read about this system and it just seemed unrealistic. And I said, no, that slide is out of date. That system can actually do far more nowadays, and if you came to work for us, you could work on it. We do amazing things here at NSA. We build incredible systems to do our national security and foreign intelligence missions. And that's ultimately the hook you try to use to get brilliant young electrical engineer at a university consider coming to work for you. There are things that you can do legally as a member of NSA in the conduct of foreign intelligence that you can't do legally anywhere else. For some kids, that is what they want to do, and they want to come here and do it. A group like Cicada, I'll give them credit. They've raised awareness of their views and of the puzzles that they've created, and that's cool. It's even more cool to try to break a real cipher used by a real intelligence target and then know that it's ending up on the Secretary of Defense's desk. It's fun to build a puzzle. It's even more exciting to be able to build a secure system and know that a warfighter is going to be using it and that could save his life. From what I've read about Cicada, if I was looking at it as a recruitment tool, boy, they made this one awfully complicated. It wasn't NSA. If we had issued a puzzle like that, we would stand up and say we had done it. Could one of our folks conceivably have been doing it on their own time? I can't rule that out.
Hello, Shadow Walker.
Hey, Brother Bugs.
That's me.
Is anyone other than me going to share camera, or should I just kill this thing?
You should just kill the thing because you look like a nerd.
I can't help that, I'm afraid.
Okay, I'm sending Craig the email.
Yeah, so meeting with Craig, he's able to show me a lot of cool stuff, techniques that not everybody learns. You know, he knows all the way back to ancient Egyptian ciphers and all the way up to modern day techniques, and he also has the experience of working with the NSA and then teaching college classes.
I'm looking at Nox right now, okay.
Hello.
Okay, so Craig, on the call right now we have
Shadow Walker.
Hi.
Brother Bach from Germany.
Hello.
Guten Tag.
And then we have Nox from Canada.
How's it going, eh?
Okay, I was going to say we don't have a good way to say hello in Canada, but that's...
Yeah, that's the best I can do.
Right.
So, the first question I have, did you do an analysis to see if the statistics match a running key cipher for the alphabet that you have?
Yes. I can show you here, actually.
Oh, cool.
Craig gave us the idea for the running key cipher. That was really interesting because, if you don't know what to look for, you'll never find it. So he knows right away, hey, you should maybe try this because this frequency analysis says that it might be that.
What you're showing me makes me think that, parts of it are running key, but not everything.
Yes.
So what we've actually been doing is taking text and converting them all into runic before we do our probability.
That's an awesome approach.
Yeah, just English into runic, this is the distribution.
Oh, dude.
Wow.
Yeah, we feel they match.
Awesome.
There are some of those spikes you were talking about where E lines up with the E and...
Yeah, if it was uniform, you'd have to hunt around for a one-time pad somewhere, so that'd be a totally different kind of problem.
It would be an impossible problem.
Well, Cicada might have stealthily posted one somewhere.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Well, you're trying great things, so I would not at all be surprised if this attack works.
Hey, Craig,
Right.
if I can ask you this question, during your time at NSA, did Cicada ever come up naturally?
Oh, geez. I don't remember specifically, but I'm sure that I asked about it. There's certainly highly compartmentalized knowledge. So, my saying that I didn't see any Cicada connection at NSA doesn't really mean anything.
Right.
Now you guys are from around the world. Any of you have involvement with your nation's intelligence agencies?
No.
Actually, we talked about this earlier. I was like, if my country ever needs someone who's great at solving meme ARGs related to insects, I'm your guy.
Okay.
Well, I tell you what, if you end up having some success with this, please let me know. It would be nice to see that you guys succeeded.
Absolutely.
Is somebody noting this?
Yeah, we're feeling pretty good about it.
The thing is that nobody has ever thought about, at least in my knowledge, about running keys in terms that concrete.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, can we keep whatever report and collect it?
Yes, I did.
Again, Shadow Walker, whenever we have submitted, we don't throw them away.
He's going on his old digital archivist thing again.
Initially, it was just a bunch of people with an interest in the same thing, but gradually, because we've spent so much time working on Cicada, this kind of small professional thing we were going for has turned into full-blown close friendships, and that's really awesome. My name is Shadow Walker, and I live on the internet now. Cicada sends us a lot of files, and to be able to use that material, we definitely need to have it organized. I'm the archivist. I'm very obsessive about organizing things, documents, important pieces of the puzzle. The name Shadow Walker I ripped off from a Star Wars fan fiction I read when I was 15. Yeah, I was pretty big on that. If you look it up, the Shadow Walker name is actually used to describe a person that's not on the light side of the Force or in the dark side of the Force. They kind of walk in the middle. And that really appeals to me because I don't have a very black and white view of morality. Sorry, I'm just kind of thinking what I can say and what I can't say. I'm probably gonna end up on some kind of watch list. Now, you see my thought process right now is very funny. It's, okay, so I'm in this building right now and you have the camera pointing behind me, so the government could definitely use that to narrow down where we are right now. And I've been in this building and there's definitely surveillance cameras in the lobby. So it might sound overly paranoid, but it's a very legitimate concern. I'm not where I grew up, and I miss being able to walk down the street and have the choice to think what I want. I have the choice to do what I want. In certain countries in the Middle East, you're not allowed to look at websites the government deems inappropriate. I feel like the flow of information in a society should always be free. People should not be restricted from learning what they want to learn simply because a government or another entity does not think it's right. So I try my best to teach people how to use tools to protect their privacy, and not just online. I try to teach them how to do that in real life as well. Hey. Okay, you guys ready?
Yep.
Why should we be concerned about the NSA eavesdropping on our conversations? Because they had a program of mass surveillance. It wasn't just on Americans, they collected the data on foreigners as well. I feel like people should not be restricted from learning what they want to learn simply because a government or another entity does not think it's right.
There are times where her internet service or certain websites she can't access because they're filtering it. She's definitely in the most precarious place out of all of us.
She cares a lot about the people around her, and she's always been there for anyone that needed it. She deserves a much nicer situation for how nice she is to everyone around her.
I really hope that she makes it out of this country, and I hope that she will maybe one day get a taste of the freedom that she desires.
I found the solving community at a time where I was very alone. If I didn't have these people in my life, I probably would have been alone for a lot longer than I would want to be alone. When I found these people, it was like a whole new world of friendship had opened for me. They mean a lot to me because we can relate to each other on a very intuitive level that I don't think is very common. So it's been really, really transformative for me to have these people in my life, to have this solving community in my life. I found a really supportive community of friends, and I think I'm happy with that result. Even if we never solve the runes, I think I'm okay with what I have right now.
Dude, I need to get off this call and start writing it. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna get off my high horse here and work on these stupid runes.
I just stick around because the community is pretty cool. There's a joke right now. We say that Cicada is really just about the friends you meet along the way because solving the puzzle seems like it's not gonna happen at this point.
The only thing that's got me a little dicey is the fact that I think the tail of this R is just flipped off just a little bit. Or I guess so. Is it rho? Is that Greek or fuck runes?
So we've tried different methods that Craig Bauer showed us. I thought that could have been a lead. It wasn't.
Yeah, I don't know. What else do you think, Nox?
I am definitely all ears for what else we do right now.
I don't know anything else. This is just mind-numbing.
It is incredibly frustrating for us because it kind of means that all our ways to approach this are probably fundamentally wrong. We are usually pretty good at this, but we couldn't make much of a dent when it comes to Liber Primus. We have a few very serviceable intuitions, but we have no breakthrough.
Do you have a better suggestion?
I don't know, I'm just pitching. I have no idea.
I don't feel like we were so not thorough that we've missed something major, but
I think it's good to operate on the assumption that nothing these people do is random, because it never has been.
It has been. It's just not that common.
Yeah.
By random, I just mean with no purpose whatsoever. Solving the Liber Primus is very frustrating when you reach one part and you see it just hits a dead end, but you still discover something new, but you can't use that information in any reasonable way.
There is a logical step that we have not made. And I don't know what it's going to take for me to get in the headspace of Cicada to try and make that logical step, but it needs to happen.
I feel like we've been pretty thorough.
Yeah, me too. Me too, bro. I don't feel like I'm in Cicada's mind space about the Liber Primus. I have no idea what their intentions are. I cannot. I've had points where I'm I've looked at something Cicada's doing and going, oh yeah, this is exactly what the fuck is going on. I get what Cicada's thinking with this. And with the Liber Primus, I've never been there.
it doesn't give away at all. So we've been stuck, and it's kind of demoralizing, but trying to solve it.
Whew.
It's hot.
Just keeps on going.
I got really frustrated. The whole community is frustrated, so I don't know. We haven't given up.
This is the largest coordinated effort that I think the community has ever done.
We have a lot of data now, we have a lot of tools, we have a lot of knowledge. Right now, we need some sort of hint. They're like, beware false paths. The Liber Primus is the way.
Well, that's like, we already knew that. That's pretty obvious. And they're not even hints. They're just like taunts. Dude, DEF CON is gonna be cool. It's gonna be great. I'm really excited.
I've known Marcus close to 6 years now, and I've never had the opportunity to meet him in real life. To be honest, I was actually really nervous.
So you're saying that the principal means of communication was called Cicada?
While I believe in coincidences, this one seems too much to be a coincidence.
Did you take a look at the Cicada stuff?
I'm not gonna like magically solve it by looking at it.
Magic is not as much fun if you know how the magician does his tricks.